Hello, Dr. L. Today I'll be presenting, obviously my name is Justin Cato, on our organizational design structure and change presentation. With that being said, the company I'll be talking about tonight is a company I work for, Honeywell Incorporated or International. And so to kind of break down Honeywell overall, Honeywell is kind of has four business tiers. The business tier I specifically work for is the one shaded here, Honeywell Building Technologies. And that's kind of the one that I will be addressing tonight. So to kind of jump into the meat and potatoes of this, kind of the background was this presentation is based on Fortune's most admirable companies. Honeywell, actually shockingly and kind of disappointing in my opinion, was ranked 162nd for 2021, but wanted to share from their perspective because of the insights I have since I've been working for them for almost 2 years now. And so the kind of the three major issues that we're going to be talking about today are innovation, which as you can see on the left, they ranked one of the bottom. People management, which actually we were ranked one on. So it was actually a strong category for Honeywell. But being the fact that I'm an employee, I'll push back on that and kind of say that too often enough, at least in the sales part of our organization, we're not good enough at it. And that's something that I'm helping to try to drive change in, as well as mentorship and onboarding is something that we really struggle with. So those are the three approaches we're going to kind of be talking about tonight. So the ramifications of underperformance here that we're going to be addressing is really ultimately lack of future talent. If we don't maintain and continue to improve upon the three areas talked about before. Quickly, another few are, you're going to have lack of intuitive products, right? We're not going to be able to approach the and grow market share if our products and offerings are not best in class. As well as we're going to have high turnover rate, which is something, unfortunately, that our entire industry is actually facing right now. So moving on to the structure, design, and culture of Honeywell as a company, I can speak from personal experience that we definitely have a very traditional org chart or organization, meaning that our hierarchy is very traditional, right? So typically you approach your manager who then approaches your manager's manager. But in recent years that I've been here the last year, I've really seen some improvement, a lot of skip level meetings, meaning that managers that are maybe 2, 3 above me. I've actually had some opportunities to speak with our CEO, actually, which has been really cool, and have him on some customer calls. I've had some cool opportunities this last year. So I've definitely seen that start to change, which I think is a benefit of Honeywell. Kind of quickly moving into the last two here. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the design is we really want to empower individuals to accomplish their tasks. There's a quote from Steve Jobs that's used a lot for us, is that you don't hire great people and tell them what to do. You hire great people so they could tell you what to do. And that's kind of our culture and our design kind of at Honeywell, in my opinion. But quickly moving into the culture, we're very performance and results driven. Ultimately, like any Fortune 100 company is, there's good and bads to that, right? I personally feel like I thrive in that environment, that sink or swim mentality. And so we're definitely performance and results driven. Absolutely. And we kind of have especially in the sales org, of HBT, that building technologies division I was discussing earlier, we definitely focus on that. So quickly to kind of help you wrap your mind around this, we have 8 behaviors of Honeywell. These are our principles and values. So we have a passion for winning. My personal favorite is think big and make it happen, and then act with urgency. Those are my 2 favorite that I really feel like I personally I can always feel like I can improve on the most, for sure. So now how I want to bring value to the organization and what I'm challenging. So I'm in what's called the sales development program. I'm actually in the process of graduating from that. It's an 18-month sales development program that is designed to, at the end of it, result you in having the skills, the adequate skills to be able to be one of the better salespeople in the organization. Now, ultimately, what's happened is that our program manager has left, and unfortunately, she was pretty much heading everything. So ultimately, it's kind of fallen on my shoulders to lead the team of 8 or 9 new hires, as well as hire on 9 more for this next coming July. So I'm kind of trying to build a sales development 2.0. So kind of the shortcomings of the program are we definitely have a lack of mentorship, lack of consistent experience. Everyone's getting a different thing, and then lack of overall learning and exposure. So the end of this program, kids are coming out of it or young professionals, and they don't have the adequate skills to be successful. So my plan to improvement, which will lead me to the next slide, is we need more structure, more mentorship, and more opportunity. That's kind of my three-tiered approach. So diving into those three things, the structure of the organization, it needs to be centralized. So this program needs to be centralized on the fact that everyone gets together for the first year and utilizes the ability and the benefit of being all together. Currently, we're spread out all over the United States, and it's very hard for us in a virtual setting to learn from each other. So that's one thing. When it comes down to mentorship, I've actually set up some really awesome stuff that I'm super excited about. With having people, experienced salespeople actually bridge that gap and to offer their time to kind of spend with new hires as well. And we've kind of created some spiff opportunities to kind of repay the sellers and kind of incentivize them to help as well. And that's a program that's actually really starting to come to fruition. Super excited about. And then opportunity. Quickly to run over this so we don't run out of time here. The opportunity is to make sure that from day one, these young grads are aware of the opportunities in the organization so that they're understanding and have the vision of where their future is going to be in Honeywell. That's a huge thing that this program currently lacks as well. So with that being said, Cotter's 8-step change model. I don't want to go through all of these because I don't have the time, but essentially, right? So the way we're creating urgency is the fact that it's a real problem in Honeywell. So we have, and then kind of skipping down to, let's say, number 5 here. So to remove obstacles, we've actually gathered early support from some of our senior leadership in Honeywell. I've been able to have some exposure with that and get everyone's buy-in into this program and to help everyone understand the importance not only of investing in the future graduate salespeople, the young salespeople into the organization, but also the fact of that they are the future of Honeywell, and investing in them is an investment in ourselves. So that was definitely a key thing. And so to kind of skip through here, some of the anticipated challenges that I've had. Ultimately, this plan has been going on for a few months now, so I've kind of already been through most of these, but it's been a lack of support. Being that I'm a fresh grad myself in the program, it's been difficult to navigate a Fortune 100 company, but ultimately we've made it work because of the fact that I've learned very quickly that it takes an army at Honeywell to get something done. Kind of to run through these quickly. Some of the, we have huge company turnover, and I know that ultimately might not seem to you in the short term kind of to affect it, but ultimately when we have people in HR, people in other parts of the business having turnover, it makes it difficult for me because once I find a key contact and they leave, that's been one of the things I've really struggled with, as well as kind of a lack of vision and help from other people around. So that's definitely been something I've kind of had to fight through. So the realignment, this is so critically important, and I'm about 8 minutes here, so I want to finish up. But the realignment of subsystems in sales and service in our teams is because those two teams are separate in our organization, sales and service. However, together is the only way to really help new sales grads actually learn our business as a whole. So that's one main subsystem that I'd really like to talk about, as well as kind of the sales mentors and obviously the program managers and stuff like that. So we've been trying to realign those subsystems. So quickly to hear me as a manager, let me move my camera here so I'm not blocking the slide. There we go. Okay, so me as a manager, I've kind of like I addressed earlier, I've kind of realized that it takes a total team and an army to change things at Honeywell, and that if you want to drive initial change, you have to have indirect reports. You can see that happen, as well as the Harvard Business Review actually had those are my final 2 bullets down there at the bottom. They had some really good points of you have to identify a keystone challenge and network the movement. So they were like, get the word out and help. If you want to make change happen, you have to get in front of it and actually educate your people on what the change is. And most importantly, you always have to be selling. So thinking it from their perspective. And so motivating that change to go, this is how it's going to positively affect your life. And then identifying a keystone challenge. The Harvard Business Review article was discussing the importance of making sure that you understand the large caveats, or let's call them keystone challenges, right? So what are the main things that are going to stand between you and getting your objective done? And then how are you going to strategically plan, not necessarily your way around it, but your way through the challenge and to overcome it and to become stronger and utilize that challenge to be able to better centralize you and your team based on the value of the change that you're presenting. And then with that being said, these are my references. Thank you, Dr. L, for your time and participation in this class. I've really learned a lot and have enjoyed everything. Thanks so much. Lopes up. Let's see.